Hey, Disney Cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. You guys know me. I'm Rebecca. I'm your host and admin of the DCL community. And today we are doing a deep dive into, Stacey, I would say probably the most popular port of Disney's, right?
Yeah, I think Port Canaveral is kind of like when you think of Disney Cruise Line, you think of Port Canaveral and just
Yeah.
the experience of cruising from there. And I think that's oftentimes many first cruisers' first port is at Port Canaveral.
Yes, it's so special. And we are going to be doing a deep dive into exactly where to stay. So if you have a cruise to Port Canaveral planned, or if you're thinking about it, you're going to want to take notes here on where to stay. We're going to be doing a deep dive into all of that. And as people are coming in, please say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you already have a cruise from Port Canaveral booked. But Stacey, as people are coming in, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Stacey Johnston. I'm from Marvelous Mouse Travels, and I am an avid Disney cruiser, just avid traveler altogether. But I specifically love cruising and particularly Disney cruising. We started cruising as a family before the girls were born, and they're now turning 21 this summer. And so over 20 years of cruising in our family. And then we started going on Disney cruises when our son was 6 months old, and he is now 11. So we've been doing this for quite some time, and we will be completing that final phase, getting on all of the ships when the treasure comes out next year. So
Oh,
super excited about that.
yes, and I know we were talking, if you were thinking about booking a Disney cruise, you're gonna wanna stick around for this. Stacy has an incredible offer at the end, so you're not gonna wanna miss that, so stay tuned. But we're gonna be diving into where exactly to stay, some things to consider when, from cruising from Port Canaveral, whether you're cruising with Disney or other cruise lines, these are gonna be really great options for you. And then if you have any questions, if you want to book your Disney cruise, get in touch with Stacy. She is here to help. That's the link to her page on the DCL community site. And her planning services are 100% free for you to use. So reach out to her and let her help you plan the perfect Disney cruise so that you are not stressing about any of the details, like where to stay. I will get this link in the comments for everybody. But let's go ahead and dive into, um, I guess, the main things to consider.
Yeah. So when I think of Port Canaveral, a lot of people think automatically I'm going to be staying at Disney, but you don't have to. And so there's kind of four main areas where you want to consider for your pre-cruise or post-cruise stay. So the first is going to be at the port, and then your second option is right there at the beach, which is very near the port. A third to consider is staying at the airport. And then, of course, my ultimate favorite is staying at Walt Disney World. So, for any of you who have followed me on any of our prior live events, I am a huge Walt Disney World fan. I kind of was born and raised growing up going to Disney. That was our family yearly trip, was the car ride down to Disney from Ohio. And so much so that I even got married at Walt Disney World. So that is always going to be my favorite option if you get a chance, is to enjoy that wonderful experience of Walt Disney World. So we'll talk a little bit about each of these in depth a little bit more.
Yes, and if you guys have any questions, I already see there's a ton of questions coming in, so keep those coming, and we'll do our best to get to those as we're going through. And I know it's on my bucket list to do that. I'm not a Disney World person, so I'm gonna mess it up. But like the Halloween party with the Halloween
Yes,
cruise, it seems amazing. So
yeah.
I'm
So
excited to
two
learn
things.
more about the
So
parks.
the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party,
Yes.
or you can combine it with the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party with your Very Merry Time cruise. And so, you've got the two parties, and they do it in such a way that if you plan the right cruise, you can then, go before your cruise to one of these special events. But even in the summer, they've got the H2O Glow for your water parks. I mean, there's just so many cool events that are happening all throughout the year at Walt Disney World. So, but
Love it.
we'll get started with the simplest. So this is just, I'm going and I'm going to be staying at the port. So you've got a variety of your options. They're going to be more along the lines of your Hampton Inns, Holiday Inns. These are super convenient because it's right across the street from the port. There's a La Quinta Inn right there. Some do include the park and cruise program, which is basically where you pay to park your car there at the hotel, and then, just take an Uber or something along across the street to the port. So this one is perfect for my drivers. So if you're driving to your cruise, I live in Florida, so I have a lot of Florida clients. We'll just book them something kind of right there at the port. And so they can arrive late. This is typically what I'll do is, I'm driving in after work. I'm going to just spend the night and then wake up and go. So it's right there. So super, super convenient. So, and again, kind of no frills. You're going to have a basic pool. You're going to have a lot of them having breakfast included. More of that continental breakfast, like the Hampton Inns and the Holidays Inns do. Super convenient, but if you're looking for more of a vacation style experience, this is probably not what I would put you in.
Yeah, and you can actually book these hotels and the cruise, right? Like, I wouldn't have to.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. And
So
then
I do flights, I do your hotels, I do rental cars, I'll do your
oh,
transfers. So however you want to get to, we have private transfer companies that we work with, and then of course we'll talk about the Disney Cruise Line transfers as well too. So I'm kind of a one-stop shop. Not all travel agents will do everything, but for me
mhm.
it's so much easier just to make sure everything's done. I'll kind of have it all in one package, and before your cruise, you'll of course get the itinerary from the Disney Cruise Line and Disney Cruise Line app, but then I send you a separate itinerary plus a whole packet of tips and tricks to consider, broken down by the individual ship and what to consider and do on your ship. But I'll have your itinerary of here's when you're checking in, here's where you're staying, here's your confirmation number, here's your flight time. So it's just kind of all there in one area.
Love that. And somebody's asking about the best airport to fly into, and it might be good to kind of level set. Like, people might think that fly into Florida and all of Florida is Disney World and the port is right next to Disney World and all that. So, can you kind of lay out geography
Yeah,
wise, like
sure.
where would
Of
you
course.
recommend flying into and how far is that from the port?
Yeah, so we've got two airports to consider. The number one that I highly recommend is the Orlando airport. So MCO, or the airport code letters. And the reason why is that this one is a little bit easier if you are flying and you want to stay there at the airport and then use Disney Cruise Line transportation. The other one that's nearby is Sanford. This is going to be where you might fly into for, say, like Allegiant or something along those lines. That one's a little bit more complicated because not all transfer companies go to Sanford, but we can certainly find a company that would work for your price line and your budget. And so if you're staying at Sanford Airport, we may just go ahead and book something along this line where you aren't having to, take into consideration the Disney Cruise Line transfers.
Yeah, so true. So true. Definitely a lot of pieces to the puzzle. Oh, the beach, my favorite place. Besides on a Disney cruise, my favorite place is the beach.
Yeah, so I love the Hilton Cocoa Beach oceanfront. So this is a picture. We just went there, gosh, in May. We stayed there and it was beautiful. And they have this cool little tiki bar right there on the beach. And then they also have this shaded kind of tiki area where you can get appetizers. They have full service restaurants, a breakfast buffet, of course, Wi-Fi, a Starbucks, and then it's right there on the beach. So you can walk down, go to the beach. They have the outdoor pool, a fitness center. It's recently remodeled, like literally just completed. So all of the rooms are remodeled. They do have a cruise shuttle that is with a fee, but it's nice to know that once we get you there to the beach, you can make this a little bit longer, and then the hotel will arrange a shuttle to get you to the cruise port. It's about 6.5 miles away from the cruise port, so not very far whatsoever. 10 minutes away, super convenient. I love again that amazing tiki bar. So this is going to be perfect for those that want to arrive a little early and spend some time at the beach. So you want to have that, it's spring break, you're going on a 4-day cruise, you want to extend your vacation and you're not interested in Disney. This is something I would consider for you, is going ahead and making kind of a beach break out of it. And I love the Hilton at Cocoa Beach. There are other resorts that we can look at as well too. But this one is one of my favorites, and they are the only one with a tiki bar right there on the beach.
So fun. And the food was good there when you guys stayed. You enjoyed the whole experience, felt safe with the kids and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a cool little, so they have a pool and then they have a splash area. So they have a little kids splash area as well too. The food, it was a breakfast buffet. I mean, they had everything, an omelet station, I mean, everything you could think of, French toast, pancakes. So my son, of course, had made to order pancakes. Loves blueberry pancakes. So we did that, and then they had the yogurt spread where you can make your own yogurt and put the fruit, this huge fruit spread in the morning. Dinner we didn't eat there, but it's also not too far from this amazing soft serve ice cream place that is like literally in the shape of an ice cream cone. So that would be something fun to do as well too with your
Yeah.
family at night.
So fun. I love that. And we have some people asking, like, should I do San Diego to Cabo first or jump into the Caribbean? All these tons of great questions on like which itinerary to do. Reach out to Stacey. She can help you and your family decide on which cruise would be best, especially for that first one, just depending
Mhm.
on where you are, where you want to go, budget, time off. There's so many factors. So definitely reach out to her.
Exactly.
And that trying to keep up with all of these questions coming in. We did an event on Halloween versus Christmas, so that's up on the DCL community YouTube. Are there any frilly hotels at the port? Anything
So
more than just a basic pool?
not really. So at the actual port specifically, we're going to be looking at those basic hotels. We'd have to go closer out to the beach, which is just past the port. So you're going to drive past the port and then you'll be hitting the beach area. So for your a little bit nicer and, again, kind of this Hilton level, you'll be looking at the beach.
Love that. Okay. And somebody's asking if I stay on the beach, can I still do the Kennedy Space Station?
Yeah, so it's actually about 25 to 30 minutes, but you can certainly get an Uber if you don't have a car. And so what we ended up doing is when I was going on a cruise ship tour with the agency, we were staying here at the Hilton, and then my family, they went to Kennedy Space Center. And then I went on the cruise ship for a tour. So it's again kind of right there. It's very
Love,
convenient.
love that. Love how convenient that is. Okay. What about the airport?
So this one I really like for my kind of I just need to fly in. I really want to go on Disney Cruise Line for the transfers. I'm flying in the night before. So just staying at the airport. So it's a beautiful Hyatt Regency and they do have a pool there as well too. They have two restaurants. You can get the Disney Cruise Line transfers from the Hyatt Regency in the Orlando airport. Again, this is for my people that just want ultra convenience. One thing that I really like about the Disney Cruise Line transfers is you just get that chance to kind of maybe board a little bit on the early end. And so that's just sometimes nice for first time cruisers, especially if you don't really know where you're going or how to get to the port. So I have about, I'd say, a little more than half of my clients usually use the Disney Cruise Line transfers. Since we live in Florida, we drive everywhere. But this is again perfect for those that maybe flying the day or the afternoon before and really want to use the Disney Cruise Line for the transfers.
And I know we're going to get the question of, do I actually have to fly in the day before? Like, I don't want to spend money on a hotel. Can I just fly in that morning? So how do you approach that? Because we get that
I
question all
always
the
say
time.
no. Like it's just something that you're investing too much money. These cruises are, they're amazing and they're wonderful, but they are they're an investment. It's in the money in your vacation. And so it's not worth risking it, especially with flights nowadays. Flights are always getting canceled and rebooked. And then add in a little bit of weather, some weather, thunderstorms. If you miss your flight and you can't, then it's your own responsibility to get to the next cruise port, and it's just a lot more complicated than anyone really wants to do. So if you're driving, I'd say okay, that's fine, you can drive down that day depending on how far away you are. But anything really beyond just a couple of hours, like I even drive down the night before, so I just highly recommend all my clients flying in the day
Yeah.
before.
I'll never forget somebody was doing a drive in from, I want to say it was from Texas, and they got a flat tire and they barely made the ship. And they were just like, it was the most stressful thing. We thought we were good because we were driving, but you don't know what's going to happen. And you want to be relaxed on your vacation, not stressed out. So just
Exactly.
fly in the day before at least, or, enjoy the beach and everything else that Florida has to offer and fly in 2 days before.
Exactly. So my ultimate favorite, again, Disney fan here, Disney addict, is just to make it a kind of what we call a land and sea package. And so you have a variety of resorts to choose from. You've got your value to deluxe, even the value resorts, you're on Disney property. You have that magical feel. You're just part of just something that's just so wonderful. The pools are themed. You have the water slides in the moderate and your deluxe resorts. So even if you don't want to spend the money on tickets, you can go to Disney Springs. So if you're just staying the night, go to Disney Springs, have dinner, and then be part of that experience. And then we'll arrange the Disney transfers that can be added to your Walt Disney World stay as well too. So I love
Yeah.
staying at Disney World.
I did not think in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you're staying at Disney, that means you have to go to the parks, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm so glad you said that. And somebody's asking, I already paid in full. Would I be able to change the hotel from airport to Disney World now?
Yeah. So if you've paid your cruise in full and the hotel is added, you may not be able to change. You can certainly call Disney. And I am happy to also book your Walt Disney World portion to your cruise. If Disney says you do not have to, stay there, but if you've paid in full, chances are you already, and it's part of your cruise package, chances are you will have to then stay at that hotel. So sometimes I actually will book the hotel outside of the cruise package just to give us a little bit more flexibility. But that's something that I work on an individual basis with each of my clients. Some like it to all be part of one package. Some want it to be separate. A lot of times, what I find, not so much in Port Canaveral, but like in Europe, we try to go with the Disney Cruise Line hotels so we can get the transfers, and their their block of rooms is sold out. So then I have to book outside of the block, but I still book them at that hotel so they can still get the Disney Cruise Line transfers.
And that's a great point. Somebody else asked, do I have to book everything through Disney or can I book separately? I guess they mean airfare and hotels. So,
Yeah. So if you say, for instance, if you already have your cruise booked and it's too late to transfer to me, no worries. I take on a variety of different clients. I do not do just cruises. So I can do your hotel portion, or I can do your flight and hotel, and I can book the Walt Disney World portion. And one thing that I just because I've been to Disney so often, I'll help you choose the right restaurants, and I will even wake up at 6 in the morning for you to do Disney dining. So we call them our Disney dining days, which is where we get up, we log in, and we start booking our dining reservations at 6 in the morning. So you can get your Cinderella's Royal Table reservations, um, or be our guest reservations, or whatever the hardest to get at that time. So I will do that for you as part of my service as being one of my clients. I've often said, for those that have listened to me talk before, that for me the client travel agent is a relationship. So although I love booking cruises, I'm hoping that by me booking some of these extra portions of your trip, you come to know me and you come to like me and you like working with me. And then you say, you know what, my next cruise, I'm going to make sure you book it, next time.
yeah,
So, yeah,
I was gonna say, what's not to love? Oh, your heart is so big, and I love that because you just want everybody to have the best
I
cruise
do.
experience. You're so invested in all of your clients, and I mean, even everybody on right now. We have so many questions coming in, and I know you are just such a great resource for everybody. And somebody's asking, should I make transportation arrangements from the Orlando airport to the port in advance, or do you do that once you land?
No, so we want to do that ahead of time. So if you aren't going to be doing it through the Disney Cruise Line transfer system, and I'd say let's go ahead and chat, because we have a couple of different options. We have some preferred vendors that I offer private transportation. They are amazing. I just 10 stars all around. So definitely definitely have some options for you, but we can look at, based off of where you're staying, when you're flying in, what the best options are for you, because not every single vendor is going to meet every single person's needs.
Yeah, so true. And somebody's asking, do the DCL transfers require car seats? Do they have them?
So, in the DCL transfers, they typically do not have car seats. Some clients will fly with their own car seats. Our private transfers, they do have car seats included, that we can request a car seat as part of your transfer.
Amazing. And is there a fastest way or best way to get from the airport to the port? That probably depends on your family, right?
Yeah. So I'd say if you're flying in, I really like the Disney Cruise Line transfers because I think it's super convenient, and they will pick you up early enough where you arrive early enough at the port. So you're probably going to be arriving around 11:30. And so that allows for you to kind of start boarding when you arrive. I think that's a great option for most. Other things to consider are, like I mentioned, the private transfers or even Uber. It really just kind of depends on how big your family is, how much luggage you have. So you should have seen us
Yeah.
trying to Uber in Vancouver with the amount of bags that a family of five had, because I also do the fish extenders, and I literally had a fish extender suitcase, and so
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
anyway, so, we did, safely we did get all luggage in, but that's something that we'll work through, like, how many bags do you have? How many people are gonna have? Do you need car seats? Those are all of the things that I'll talk you through, and we'll figure out what the best transportation option is for you.
Yes, so true. And someone's asking if we do land and sea and drove down, could you leave your car at Disney or would you recommend doing the Disney transfers?
Um, I it depends. Are you gonna go so I actually have clients that will do a couple of days in Disney before and then go back to Disney afterwards. So if that's what you wanna do, I'd probably just leave my car there. Um, if you are, if you're driving and then you're flying directly from the airport after the cruise, I'd probably just drive. Just because I saw on here, like, how far is it away? Plan on a little more than an hour. So, it's going to take you time to get from the airport to the hotel and then from the hotel to the cruise port. So, thinking Disney World. So, um, when we do it, we typically will drive to Disney and then we'll drive to the cruise port and then we'll leave from there.
Good to know. And this might be a silly question, but I know nothing about the parks. Is like parking included with your hotel stay? Is that an additional cost?
Yeah, so parking is included in your hotel stay. So what we'd have to figure out is what do we do in that gap? And we'd have to work with the Disney Cruise Line to see what they recommend. Parking for a period of time, parking was not included and we had to pay extra for parking. And I think Disney heard the feedback, and so they started including parking in the costs of the hotel, so of the resort. So the resort stays do include parking.
Good to know. And speaking of parking, somebody else is asking, can you park at the port or is it a far drive from the parking garage to the
Yeah,
port? But
no, the
it's
parking
right
garage,
there.
yeah, it's right there. So at Port Canaveral, the parking so what's gonna happen is you're gonna pull in, you take a left, and then you drop off your luggage, so make sure you have your luggage tags, everything's ready, drop off your luggage, and then you'll go park in the parking garage, which is literally right there. It's across
Yeah.
the street. I mean, it's like the little lane between the parking garage and the, luggage valets. And then you just park, you walk across the bridge on level three, and then you make your way down the escalator. And next thing you know, you're there at the security entrance and getting all checked in and all of that good stuff. So I think the Port Canaveral for Disney is one of the easiest ones I've been to. I've not had issues with parking. I've had issues with parking at another cruise line in another city where we there was no parking space and we kind of had to make one of
Ooh,
our own. And so but I've never had that issue with Disney at the Port Canaveral parking garage.
amazing. Okay, well, that is good to know. And somebody else is asking, I've cruised out of Port Canaveral before and it took about 3 hours to actually park and get into the port. Is Disney the same way? I don't know what cruise line that
Um,
is.
yeah, so I usually I'd say plan for about an hour. So by the time you drop out the luggage, you park. During COVID, it was so long. I don't know if anyone's ever cruised during COVID, but you had to wait for your nasal swab to come back, and that took forever. And so, but
Ugh.
right now, I'd say plan for about an hour. So from kind of dropping off the luggage, parking, walking across, getting checked in, and then going through security is all set in about an hour.
Good to know. Awesome. Okay, I think we've gotten through all of these questions. Is the super special offer up next?
So this, no, not quite yet. The next one is
Okay.
just showing you kind of some price points for like a
Yes.
land and sea package. And
Beautiful.
so just kind of chose September. September is one of my favorite months to sail. Yes, there are potential hurricanes, but I think the weather is so great in September and it's not too hot. And the price points are amazing in September. So if you're thinking about Disney, but you're thinking like, gosh, this is just a little more than I want to spend, let's look at September. That's a great, doing the 3 night or a 3 night on the Wish and then adding in some days at Disney. So what I did was I priced out the 3 nights, September 12th through the 15th, and then the Caribbean Beach, the 15th through the 18th, a 3-day ticket with admission to one park per day. Total price for a family of four is $6,295. So that's for the cruise and for the resort and for your 3-day tickets. All of that is included in that price.
Wow, there are some 3-day cruises that are that much in total. That's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So this
I
is
need
a
to go to Disney
7 day.
in September. That sounds amazing.
Exactly. So this is a 7 day week-long vacation for, less than $1,000 per day. So I mean, you can't. Yeah, I just think it's a great deal. Other great times to go are March, so we can look at March. I booked a lot of Mother's Days cruises, the
Ooh,
little 3-day cruises for Mother's Day. That's also a great first time to go. May is again not super hot. It's not as crowded. So that's a great one to look at as well too. So kind of that first and second week of May.
yes. Oh, that's such a good point. Disney cruises do make wonderful gifts.
They do.
And just mentioning it that my birthday's in September. So if anybody wants to get me this for my birthday, I'm all ears.
Exactly. All right. So I've had a great month. My birthday was last month. I got married anniversary last month. And then my husband and my kids' birthdays this month. And we're going to Europe in a week. So just feeling super, super generous. And there's some other agents and I that are doing this. So the first promo is transfer your cruise or placeholder to me. Now, remember, it has to be within 30 days of booking the placeholder, 30 days with booking the cruise. You get a $25 gift card just right off the bat. So you get a gift card just for doing the transfer. It's literally a form that you fill out. I actually fill it out for you, and I have DocuSign. You just sign it, and then I get it
Yeah.
off to Disney. So if you want to transfer that, you get $25 just right off the bat. Plus you get onboard credit. Now for new bookings, we are giving up to $1,000 onboard credit, or so I'm doing double onboard credit or a free room upgrade. So if you book an interior, we'll be doing an ocean view. And if you do an ocean view, we will do the family ocean view for you. So kind of, one category up. And
Yeah.
so that's on me as a thank you for booking with me. And so yeah, I definitely now I have to book by the end
Amazing.
of July for the free upgrade, but I'll still be honoring the onboard credit for a double onboard credit for a period of time after this.
Wow. Okay. If you don't have a Disney cruise booked right now, Stacey's link is up on screen. I have it in the comments for everybody too, but I will put it in the comments again. Email her, get some time on her calendar this week, and get this Disney cruise booked because I haven't heard of anybody else offering a free room upgrade. That's amazing. And up to $1,000 onboard credit. Do you know how many souvenirs I could buy with that?
I
That is
know.
amazing and so generous of you. And if you guys don't know, like, working with a travel agent, you get so, so, so much, and it doesn't cost you any more. The price of your cruise does not increase at all. So this is a great way to support a local business owner like Stacy and get a whole bunch back. Like, this is I feel
Yeah.
like I got to put my jaw up from the floor. This is amazing.
We're super excited. I've had a good sales year, and I just love it so much. And I just love the relationships that I form with my clients that literally they're people I've never met before. Now we're Facebook friends, and they're taking pictures and tagging me in their posts. And it's just so wonderful. I love cruising so much, and I love Disney cruising so much. I just want my clients to have the same experience. And so it's just so fun.
Yes.
And yeah, so there are a couple of other agents who are like, you know what, let's do it. It sounds like fun. So I thought I'd give it a shot and see, see if anyone takes me up on it because it sounds like an awesome deal. So
Yes, agreed. And we have people asking if you will message them. The best thing to do is reach out to Stacy. She's so incredibly responsive on email. I have the link to her page up on screen, but it's also in the comments. If you go to dclcommunity.com, you can find it. And she is here to help you plan that amazing Disney cruise. And somebody's asking, do you have to be American to take advantage of this?
no, I have several of my clients that are international. So there are other cruise lines where we're limited in which countries we can book, but Disney is not one of them. So I can book wherever you live. And so I would be happy to work with you.
Love that. Well, Stacy, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you for all of the great inspiration on where to stay, because this is definitely one of our most asked questions about, okay, my cruise is booked, but now what? And, that's not something that you have to worry about. Stacy will have that full checklist of everything that you need to be thinking about so that you don't have to worry. You can just focus on having an amazing vacation. Thank you all so much for joining. Stacy, thank you again. And we will see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys.